Greetings, flesh creatures. It is I, Megatron. On behalf of TFYLP, I want to congratulate you for listening to the most refined collective podcast on this miserable little planet Earth. Yes. Here you'll find knowledgeable fans discussing every aspect of Transformers and beyond. Now, enjoy the show while I continue my path to complete conquest of all of you miserable biological entities. Predacons, terrorize!
What's happening?
Hi, welcome to TFYLP, episode 459. We are live tonight.
I made it.
Woo! Yeah, Nick. Hey, congratulations. There you go. Just jump right in.
Nick with the best sounding setup in the land,
right?
Finally.
Right. You show all the rest of us up here. We're live Monday, December 6th. I'm Lucas. I am joined tonight by Phil and Peter.
River Destron.
And Nick.
Hello.
And Paul. And,
Truckosaurus.
I believe we may be joined by Christian here in a minute. So,
for those only getting the audio of this, Paul just dribbled beer upon himself as he was introducing himself.
This was like a.
That wasn't the only thing that dribbled.
This was the only. I'm not drunk. This is the first sip I've had, and I sacrificed the first nice drinks because it fizzed all over the place to make that awesome intro. Working for you, the TFYLP viewer.
Are you saying that TFYLP is driving you to drink, Paul?
No, many other things.
There's a long list of things in life that
the list gets longer every few hours. So this is my serenity now.
Serenity now. Oh, we're coming up on Festivus. It's pretty close here.
Oh, right.
So,
I got a lot of problems with you people, and you're all going to hear about it.
So tonight is going to be kind of a grab bag of rumors and topics and whatever. And we wanted to talk about some of the rumors with comics and whatnot. So that's really what it's going to be about. We're not going to go over the history of comics and all that. That's like way too informative. We speculate instead here. So
Potent.
maybe there'll be another show where we actually kind of go over the history. I'm sure we've done it at some point. I have to look up in our archives. So
We should have a show where a couple of guys get together and talk about, aspects of the history of the brand and all the fun details, and we drill into it real deep and explain everything to everyone. So there's an ongoing series of things that we can talk about and show our expertise and our love for the brand. And then Nick could stop giving me that look because he's grounded and just think about Truckosaurus.
God damn it. I've been a little busy, Peter. Been a little busy.
Have you?
No excuse.
Stuff going on.
Yes.
I think you're the only one that's busy, Nick.
Yeah,
Jeez.
we got busy coming out of our ears.
Yeah.
right. I mean, you're an hour later anyway, right? You're on the East Coast, so you're fine.
What?
It's sleepy time right now.
So
All right, back to dribbling.
yeah. So anyway, so the first thing Rick wanted to talk about, of course, he's not going to be on the show.
We don't have to talk about it, right?
Is
Next.
No, I want to get whatever topic. I want to hear your take on it, Paul. But there's some new there's some new Transformers art through Phil. What's this site again? And I know Nick. I think you get all this stuff too, right? What was the?
Yeah, this one was an official thing. I first saw it posted today on Hasbro's Transformers social media. So the official. And basically the site was more art gallery. So
Ooh.
I mean, I figured Rick would be the target audience for that kind of post. Not I didn't mean to trigger the dude, but it was more along the lines of hey, you frame art. You like Transformers art. You might like this. And instead he was This is evil.
Yeah, because it's a Photoshop hack job.
Yeah.
So what happened was there was this like action shot of a bunch of Transformers, Megatron and Optimus and Devastator and all that type of thing. And so they had shared it, and then as the Transformers social media does, people were looking at it and they're like, wait a minute, like I recognize some of that. And so it looks like apparently that the artist had taken some various shots of third-party figures and masterpiece figures and just a grab bag of a lot of different stuff, and then kind of made a collage out of it, I guess, and
threw a filter over it and called it a day.
Yeah. That was kind of.
It may be a Photoshop hack job, but it's at least a limited edition, impossible to
I'm
get.
buying it anyway. I'm just mad about it.
Don't support this nonsense, Nick.
It's licensed.
We talked about this a month ago in Baltimore.
I have to buy it.
You don't have to.
I do.
I promise you don't have to. I promise you don't. This stuff is not even, it's barely official, especially this particular one.
It got pushed on the official Hasbro page there. I got to get it.
Just put
hate it. I'll just hate it the whole time. I'll just
put
be
it on
mad
the
about it.
back burner, man. Back burner that shit, and then when it sells out, just deal with it. Just deal with it.
Yeah.
What happens when you skip a thing, Peter?
You life
How much more
moves.
you pay for it later?
Life
Life
finds a
moves
way. All right, I'm done.
So
Wait,
here's
so
my
Hasbro-
question is can we back channel third-party figures as official, Paul?
Dude, come on.
Like
okay.
if they appear in official artwork or whatnot, like
Space-
can you then say, well, this is the model it's based on, it's okay
Space
to
Ape.
have it?
Space Ape did that.
Safe does it.
Space Ape did that with their Earth Wars game 5-6 years ago. They were talking about, we're introducing Predaking to the game, and we've got a really cool masterpiece Predaking that we're using as a model. And they showed on their little video the goddamn MMC, and they're like, this is so cool. And it's a licensed by Hasbro game, and they used the third-party thing for the model, and that's in the game. That was years ago now, 5 years ago.
It's still there. They didn't update
It's still there.
it
They
when
didn't change
came
it.
out.
Yeah, they didn't change it. Didn't give it G1 skins or anything like that. It's straight up MMC Feral Rex. Yep.
Boop.
Well,
Like, they
and we've
shouldn't
also
do that,
had Imaginarium Art also made a like $3,000 4-foot tall statue that is the Make Toys giant. So they essentially took that
about that
tiny little third-party Devastator or whatnot and scaled it up to be, 4 feet tall and whatnot. So again, and then so this picture I think is taken Toy World Devastator. I think it's taken some MMC figures. It's taken.
Fucking real.
I'm trying to remember like what all stuff that people figured out. What was.
It's all out there.
Remember, this guy got paid money to make this.
Got paid money by Hasbro to make this.
Well, by Moore, who was contracted by or have a license from Hasbro. Whatever.
Hasbro's involved financially somewhere, and they're pushing it on their official
Hasbro's
channel.
probably collecting money from the license. They probably didn't pay them to make these prints. It's probably
Money works somehow, and people are making money off this thing.
It's getting paid in wampum.
Probably not.
Are we allowed to say that?
I don't think so.
What? Why?
I
don't know. I'm calling it. Don't say that.
All right.
Okay.
Fair enough.
I don't know what that's from.
It's
I
a
think-
Native American currency.
Oh, okay.
I think it's from the 1955 Peter Pan, which should be avoided at all costs.
Aw.
You're welcome, America.
Don't buy this thing. Don't support more art and their crazy limited schemes. These are not one-of-a-kind pieces of art. This especially, but the last
Like,
round too.
At what point
Like,
does
their
Hasbro take a
prints
look at how these
just-
guys behave and go, you know what? We're done with you.
So Paul, what is your take?
Take
Because I'm
pre-orders.
curious. Like you
Hashtag
said, you had a
BotCon.
different take. What is your different take? I'm just curious.
Well, there's a lot of levels to this, and I need to just pull it up again. We really should be like looking at this and dissecting it.
Don't look at it. Stop looking at it.
So,
Just
First
don't look.
on YouTube.
Just don't look.
first off, the artwork is good. Like it's a good illustration.
I like the print.
Right.
I like it.
It's not to me, but
Person-
that's okay.
Wait, the only person
You're emotionally loaded in it.
the only
I'm
person
not.
who's going to get this thing, or maybe one of two, is the one that is complaining about it. It doesn't like the way it looks. Nick, please, we need an intervention here.
I'll just buy it quietly and never mention it again. It won't ever so it'll go into storage, and I'll just be like, "Meh." And then Nick and Rick will buy it. Rick will be like, "Look at this big piece of crap that I bought. I don't even like it." And he'll like make a big production of throwing it away. But he bought a second one that he's keeping mint somewhere.
So, again, I just want to say the artwork is good. It looks good. Like if you just glance at this, you'd be like, "Hey, that's sweet." Artists use photo references all the time. This is not. Yeah, it is.
No, it's not. It's a straight up Photoshop hack job. He literally just took the things, isolated them, put them in his image, and ran a filter over it.
No,
he didn't redraw it.
Yeah, he did. He redrew them. There's a lot of touches here. This took many hours.
The many touches filter.
Yeah, my ass.
Did he cut some corners? Sure. Did he use like official?
Yo, man, you a tracer.
Sure.
Hey, that's
Whatever.
an inking joke.
I mean, I will say that the only person I think on this podcast who is an artist, I would say, is Paul, like, right? Because you do this type of thing.
Well, I don't. No.
Not this type of thing, but I'm saying, like, you work in Photoshop and filters and things like that, right? So you could tell what's involved.
It's digital art. He definitely took. He used these source images, whether they're from fans or they're from photos that are official, which some of them are. I bet that like the Grimlock part and the what is the other thing down there that's like, because Ravage in this twice? Like, what is that other thing down there? What is that? I don't know. So there's still some weird stuff going on. But like, that's obviously MP36 Megatron. That's obviously MP52 Starscream. That I'm not sure exactly which Optimus that is, but I definitely have seen it. It might
Prime.
be
It's Optimus Prime.
Aha.
yeah.
No.
Nice.
But it's like
As
one of
opposed
those.
to Optimus Steve.
Yeah, it's not
one of the-
Grimlock. It's actually
Jesus,
Slash.
I'm done. It's Slash. Who does
I think
it?
so. It looks
Okay.
like Slash.
Makes a lot of sense.
That's a non-transforming Optimus Prime. I just don't know exactly which one. The Soundwave is confusing. I'm not sure what that's from. And the Skywarp is also from MP52 Plus. And so people point that out, like, look, like they point out the references, and yes, they were used, but like, that's okay. Like there's nothing wrong with it.
Reference and then like light boxing over a thing, man.
Still okay.
No.
I will say there is something to be said about composition. This isn't just like a collage of a bunch of different boxes. He arranged the images to make it into one dynamic image that I'm on the side that says it does look pretty neat. I wouldn't buy it. I got too much stuff in my rooms already. But, you know, there is more work here than just being a total hack job.
Yeah, like I wouldn't say this should be this guy's like crowning achievement by any means. Like he's not he's not creating things completely from scratch out of nowhere because he just like memorizes the designs of these. This guy's a production artist and he got something done and he did it for a paycheck. Exactly. That I've never heard of the guy before. I wouldn't lambaste him.
Talking about it.
Lots more talented folks out there looking for work who could have
Too
done a
fucking
nicer
bad.
print.
They didn't get the job.
Formerly of IDW, looking for work.
Yeah. So
That's a segue.
They need to start rapping on doors to get jobs. But the egregious part of this to me is that there are third-party designs in official stuff. Like that's really bad. Like the fact that the car says Lancia on it is also pretty wild. Like I can't believe it says that. And that is not the artist's fault. That's the problem from like up above that this got passed because they're supposed to be in charge of their license, and that's unfortunate.
No one's driving the bus anymore, man.
Yeah. It's Groundhog Day, man. We're going off the cliff. Just like That's the second 2 shows in a row.
I would have loved it more if it just had all third-party figures and that's all it had in it. And like it got passed through Hasbro, like it would have been amazing. Like because a lot of those figures do have third-party. I mean, not Slash, but like a lot of them have third-party representation and whatnot. So I think that would have been absolutely amazing if we would just taken poses of all the third-party figures. But
what's the Devastator from? Is that
I think
statue?
It's the Toy World.
Oh, that's rough.
And it's another artist's head on the Devastator. Like it's something somebody else drew, pasted on top.
Yeah. I mean, you see this a lot these days in digital art, and you know, we know because we memorize these images are burned into our brains, so we catch this stuff. But like,
yeah, but we have brain damage.
Yeah,
but like,
we have brain damage.
Also, in the age of the internet, who makes this and goes, "They'll never know what I did." Like, come on, man.
The
fucking people in charge didn't know.
The one thing that I will say is it's like, okay, if you're gonna do that, I think it's fine, but it's like own up to it. Whereas like the artists, I think didn't they like turn off all the comments and all that kind of thing, like on the posts and whatnot. So you know someone's like oopsies.
Yeah, oops. I don't know. I mean, a lot of artists are not 100% emotionally stable, and like he could have really been proud of this because he did do a lot of work. I'm telling you, all these highlights and the shadows and all that stuff. Like it's not like that. You just press a fucking button and that happens. He had to repaint this entire thing, and now he's probably getting lambasted. And he didn't think he crossed the line, and that's where the gray area is. So if you don't like it, you cannot like it. That's fine. You can hate this for all those
someone
reasons.
else's work, didn't credit them, and then didn't think it would be a problem.
So whose work did he steal?
Fuck out of here.
Whose work did he steal?
Whoever the photographer was.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, he could have theoretically taken all of those
stock
figures,
photos are one thing, but if any of these came from
the guy at Hasbro who commissioned this through More Art or licensed it or whatever said, take any toy in my office. And he did. He took all the third-party toys out of the office and took photos of them and then photoshopped over them. Put the ass filter or whatever you called it. And, yeah. See, that's a joke on Hasbro owns all the third-party stuff. You see what I did there?
They do. They do it.
Please clap.
So, well, there we go. I think this discussion has went on much longer than what I thought it was on this particular thing. Sorry. But you know, I don't know. I do think it actually looks neat. I like it better than the old whatever the other ones that were through that site. I didn't really like the other ones that you got. Free. Yeah, what I
didn't really care for
Did
the
you
budget,
get like 4 or 5
anyway.
prints before?
There's only been 2. This is the third.
I got some of them, and then some of them sold out because they were limited to fucking 10, because that's apparently a thing that people do. 10 when they're making a pre-order on a thing that they could print to demand, they make 10.
Right,
makes perfect fucking sense.
Ugh.
Stupid.
I also want to point out that the parts that this dude drew that weren't from a real good reference, like Bumblebee and Slash. Well, Slash looks okay, but Bumblebee looks kind of wonky. Like the way his head is shaped and everything. Yeah. So, you know, sometimes people need to lean on reference a little more than others. And but it still looks cool. At a glance, it looks cool.
I don't like that style of art. It's the same reason I don't like Livio Ramondelli's art. It's just like darkness and smudges. I don't appreciate that as art.
Hi, Christian.
Hey, man.
How's it going? Welcome to the show. I know you've been here for like a few minutes, but Paul was talking a lot, so you know.
I just interjected when it was possible. I'm here.
Yeah,
what up?
Here's Christian's here too. I said earlier that he was going to show up, and he did. So there you go.
I did. Not even super late. It's great. Here we are.
Right. So do we want to talk about some of the like rumors with figures first, or do we want to talk about the comic stuff first?
Well, we should talk about the apparent news that just dropped like 10 minutes ago.
10 minutes ago.
Buzz. 10 minutes ago.
Breaking.
Also, there was a brand new release out of Asia. New Buzzworthy Bumblebee figures. We want to start with those, maybe.
That's
there's 3 of them.
And they're repaints, right? I think.
Let me find the photo.
They're photoshops. They took pictures of third party.
2 of them are repacks. They're repacking B127 from Studio Series and Cup from Studio Series 86.
Well,
and there's a new figure. It's Cliff Jumper.
Very exciting.
Is it from the Worlds Collide mold? It looks kind of like it is, which I guess is just a Cliff Jumper mold, right?
Yeah, is it just repainted
that's Cliff Jumper, from Earthrise.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
It's Earthrise, Cliffy, do.
Yeah,
he looks kind of wide with the new blue window. That's why I wasn't sure, but that's what it was.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't really tell what's different without like comparison shots, but it's different.
It's bizarre that Cup is like more
and
anime
it's a Studio
accurate.
Series figure, so that means they definitely changed something.
Cup looks exactly the same to me.
No,
but
he's got a painted chest, and he's got like dribbles on him.
Oh man,
that's cool.
It actually
got
looks
like the battle damage is not like space mud, but like actual like anime style battle damage.
They're gonna make me open another goddamn Cup.
Because your Cup has a clear windshield thing, and they painted over it. It's very similar to the
Fans Toys,
the Cliff Jumper. How they painted over the clear parts.
Mm.
So it's not Fans Toys.
I wonder if that's a sign of what's to come with Studio Series Ironhide if and when that happens.
I mean, probably.
Oh, but that's a Voyager.
But I mean the painted over the window detail kind of dealy.
Yeah, probably.
Are they just sell that deluxe?
Are they doing MP Plus versions of regular release toys now?
Chugster Piece Plus.
Yeah. I really thought that they would wait until 2024 to do that. I really thought they would do it in the 40th anniversary line with retro packaging and do that kind of thing. That's what I thought was going to happen. They still might.
We talked before about how they were like all this stuff was going to get pushed back with the movie and all that, so they got to pump out some repaints, right? So here we go.
There it is.
This is not what I was expecting from.
Ron in the comments is saying that there's a 12/30 release date on the Buzzworthy stuff, so keep an eye out for that, I guess.
Interesting.
That's like it was last year too, I think.
I believe you. I don't remember.
It's because they never announced Buzzworthy.
What's the short-term memory?
It just appeared.
So this comes back to wait. Let me bring this back. So because Hasbro officially announced this poster, Nick has to get it. But since Hasbro never announces Buzzworthy toys, does Nick still have to get them?
Yeah, of course he does.
Okay.
They'll announce it somewhere.
Will they though? 6 months. Yeah.
Probably not. It'll be
I think they
buried.
finally did a Buzzworthy thing.
More like Bastard Child Bumblebee, am I right?
Although, now that Hasbro Pulse is doing the partner program for premium members, it's possible they could just list them on Pulse now. They didn't do that a year ago because it wasn't a thing.
And they didn't do it for the 4-pack or the Origins B.
So they just do it.
Fair enough.
There could have been a different contract in place for those. It could be a year, it could be new terms.
Year different.
Your poster's going to be available forever, though. It's never going to sell out.
I don't know.
You know why? Because I'm going to buy one, and then it's going to remain available forever because I bought one. But if I don't buy one,
Balvatron still available, by the way? Can you just pick that one up? Oh.
No.
Oh, okay. I figured that didn't sell out. I know it was sitting there for a while.
You couldn't get it anywhere.
What?
Wait, are you
the Balvatron?
Are you saying J Balvintron, not Valvotron?
No,
yes.
Different thing.
Sorry, J Balvintron.
That's a different thing. Never mind. I don't know that's availability.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I have a Valvatron. Is that worth anything?
Hard to get.
So does Hasbro do their official announcements by just doing pictures on a computer screen that somehow gets picked up by eagle-eyed viewers or
Family Dollar employees?
It's all part of the leaks are planned at this point. If you don't think the leaks are planned, you're not paying attention. It's all on purpose.
Yeah, I've been saying that for a while.
It's how they get us to talk about it on shows like this.
Right, exactly.
There is no coordinated effort to get the 5 dipshits at TFYLP to talk about leaks.
We're doing good marketing and we're not getting paid.
No. He's not including himself as a dipshit. We're the 5 dipshits.
I am definitely one of them.
Let's feed those nerds some breadcrumbs so they'll talk about it on social media.
So
they don't need to spend time with their families.
The computer screen reveals were from a live stream that was for special insiders on Friday. It's the second time they've done that. We're still on the inside, and I'm concerned. But they did do it. They showed off Studio Series Bumblebee RC, which was cool, I guess. No one really cared.
Awesome.
I like it. I think the alt mode looks sweet.
They showed off a lot of concept art for the B-movie guys because they didn't have alt modes designed by ILM because they're not Transformers. They're just there. Anyway, they made alt modes. Now they're toys. Yay. The computer screen reveals, though, behind where they were sharing the images were icons on a desktop for several things, most important of which was a folder called BotBots Awesome. And I want to know what that is.
You know what that is? They're fucking with you. It's nothing. It's never going to come out. It's never going to see the light of day.
It sounds like the title of the TV show to me. If I were really guessing, it sounds like the TV show to me.
We'll see.
Like if Teen Titans Go can be the name of a series, BotBots Awesome can be the name of a series. That's what it sounds like.
Go was almost the name of a series.
And it did not come out.
No.
Okay, the one that everyone's talking about. We got to see a little bit of Shatterglass Blaster, which we did know was coming from other leaks. The new one for sure, though, is a purple repaint of Titan Omega Supreme.
Blue,
dog.
Blue.
Purple.
Blue.
Whatever.
That is the weirdest. So how did we? Was this an accident? Were they like showing their screen?
Yes, their screen.
Come on,
yeah,
it's on
accident,
purpose.
of course. Accident.
We all know it's on purpose.
I mean,
There are
that
no accidents.
that I kind of believe is real.
Well, it's like the
Oh,
accident
it's
in the Star
came
Wars
from
version
the
of this
brand
when
manager's desktop. It's real.
But
Well,
the accident of when they were doing a Star Wars version of this and they accidentally said the Rancor HasLab, and that's gone on to wild success.
Hey, let's check in on that.
Now, human beings do make mistakes. Does anyone remember BotCon 2015?
Does anyone remember BotCon?
What
happened?
I almost got
remember-
fired today for a mistake I made last week.
You're doing real great at that new position. Does anyone remember a little toy line called Titan Wars
Oh yeah, sure.
that never happened and was on display real big? I don't think that was a subversive marketing ploy. That was a literal whoopsie doodle.
It probably just got changed, man. I don't think it's an accident so much as that it was a running change. They decided to do something else. It was Titan's Return, but they were calling it Titan Wars. It's probably the whole trilogy
also,
was the Prime Wars trilogy, right? Combiner Wars. It was Prime Wars trilogy. So they were calling it, probably in working stage, they probably call it Titan Wars. This is not.
Yes, and they also were not promoting that toy line or talking about it at all. It was a completely huge mistake. They printed the wrong backdrop and then opened it at the show and were like, uh-oh.
I wasn't there. I remember the pics of that.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Remember when Fox Kids sent out that thing saying that the sequel to Beast Wars was going to be called Beast Hunters, and they had like pre-production art stuff? And do you guys still have your Fox Kids newsletter where they talk about Beast Hunters?
No.
He does.
I just want to see Peter like pull it out.
Rick will
like,
frame that for you.
right here.
I don't have it right here.
Yeah, because that would be pretty amazing.
Didn't they have to change it from Beast Hunters because they couldn't call it Hunters in Canada because that was too violent?
They called Beast Wars Beasties for
Right.
a minute. Yeah. I don't know.
I thought that was the reason for the change. I don't know.
I'm sure there are reasons.
This blue purple repaint. I don't know why you guys see blue and I see purple. Blurple. This blurple repaint of Omega. It looks like, the G1 cartoon Guardian robots. They were also called the Omega Sentinels later in time for the Dreamwave era. There is something in the leaked listings that may be this. We have something in selects called just Guard.
Yeah, that's a deluxe.
Yeah.
It's a deluxe.
Is it a deluxe? Well, then never mind.
It's okay. They didn't gate it off properly. So, Guard is just Countdown at a deluxe price point. He's blue.
You'll pay for it, nerd.
Yeah, this is what you get.
Well, then I'm going back to what we originally thought Guard might be, which was the other thing that was revealed over the weekend. Which was Diaclone Ironhide, aka Shatter Glass Ironhide. They have the same color scheme, different characters. Well, one's a character, one's not yet, but I'm sure he'll be a character when he comes out.
Paul, do you care to explain why the pictures of him look so awkward?
Pictures of what?
The
Diaclone Ironhide.
Black Ironhide with the red head.
That's Guard. So, funny story about that. That was another one of those colorful 4chan leaks where this one person who shall not be named, who clearly needs therapy, decided to write racial slurs all over the leak photo because he gets these items early from, however they get released from factories. And that's how he decided to post it instead of just not posting it at all.
Theft. Racist and theft.
Yeah, they go hand in hand. So
I mean,
it's
you
been
would
pretty
think
roughed up and has artifacts,
at this point, I mean, the guy can't say anything because, like, after the last time where all of those got removed, the watermarks and whatnot, like, obviously it's easy to do, or relatively easy. So,
the guy has like no problem telling you
he's racist.
That he did. He made he's not racist. He just made that to prove an internet point. Like,
oh, okay.
Of course.
Gotcha.
So,
yes.
It's really sad. It's a really sad, weird situation that I hope goes away quick.
So when you look at that picture and it's got all these artifacts, it's because that crap got removed. Someone removed it, and we thank that person, whoever that was. Because now we see what Diaclone Ironhide looks like, and he looks cool. I'll be buying 2 of them.
Well, let me see. If it's Diaclone Ironhide and he comes with both an Autobot logo option and a Shattered Glass Autobot option, I guess I need 3.
He won't come with options. Just
Stickers.
Like
Stickers. Need stickers.
No stickers.
That's
They'll put
what
foil stickers and just like
for.
apply them haphazardly.
Fine, I'll buy Reaper labels. I'll stick the Shattered Glass Autobot logo on it myself. And I still need 3.
Why do you need 3?
Because one would have to sit with my Diaclones, one would have to sit with my Shattered Glass, and because it's a Shattered Glass toy, I'd have to keep an extra one sealed. So I'd need 3.
I don't get that last one. Is that a new rule?
Yeah, it is.
You keep all the
Shattered Glass
on
your
sealed
rule.
for some
Shattered
reason?
Glass toys. No, yeah. Because Shattered Glass is my favorite thing ever.
Okay. I mean, I like Shattered Glass too. Okay. Okay, man.
Is that Shattered Glass? Is that how?
Yes.
I guess it's black Ironhide, right? That's what Shattered Glass looks like.
Yep.
Well, he's going to be called Guard or some iteration of that, which makes me wonder if it's if he's supposed to be, if they're kind of pitching him as another version of the Decius drone,
These nuts drone.
These nuts.
You know what we should do? We should revisit themes from the Earthrise series because it was such a resounding success across the fandom and amongst our group in particular that we need revisits to drill it in that it's sticking forever and we're never going to be rid of it.
I think this will more likely be a Diaclone homage that didn't really have an English name, so they're giving him an English name. Yeah. And therefore
ticket burnout.
And therefore, Nick, I don't think you would have to treat him as a Shattered Glass toy because he won't be in the Shattered Glass packaging.
Oh, I have the extra on the Shattered Glass Optimus and Ratchet, and they come in the worst packaging ever. So
this will probably be in that similar kind of packaging, would be my guess, with just the cardboard box.
But it's cool that he exists, and it's cool that you can have one for Shattered Glass. It's cool that you can have one for Diaclone.
Yep.
I'm happy to see him. I guess he's probably second in line after Lift Ticket since he's coming out this early. Because we've got that solicitation for Blue Trailbreaker, too. I forget what... They've assigned him a number. I can't remember what that is.
It's like a Diaclone thing.
Yeah, that.
DK3.
Diaclone.
Thank you. I was on JP93, which is a different thing.
That's not... Yeah.
That's not the same thing.
That's
it was
a different...
3. There was a 3 in there. 3 and some letters. Look, man. There's a lot of stuff now. And if you don't make it a name, I can't remember it.
The question is with the Guardian is how many is Nick getting? How many is Peter getting?
Oh, the Omega Sentinel Guardians?
I don't have to do anything I don't want to. I do have an illness, though, so, whatever. It's probably 3, because I got to have 2 open to hate, and then 1 sealed to hate, and then 1 for the boy.
I'm super excited. I'm getting 2.
Yeah, I like you.
2 flanking Omega Supreme, and I'm very happy about it.
How much space do you guys have?
Oh, I'm out of space.
I talked to Nick about this earlier. That is a problem for Future Christian to solve. I've been really nice to Future Christian lately. He can take this one issue. I'll punt this to him. I have confidence. He'll figure it out.
The Simpsons meme that I saw over the weekend was just glorious.
Just gonna say that.
Just Seymour Skinner, like, no, the shelves are the problem.
Surely I don't have too many toys. It's the shelves that's the problem.
Yeah,
that was one of the most spot on things I've seen in a long time.
I have every confidence that future Christian will work it out.
Have you guys had that issue with like whoever you're living with and whatnot, where you're like, hey, what are your thoughts on getting some more bookshelves?
I don't have that problem anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, I've had that issue where I'm like, hey, what would you think about that? And they're like, no, absolutely not. Like, you're not putting any more bookshelves with toys on them.
I don't have a problem because I am alone. Roxy doesn't care.
I probably shouldn't have phrased the question that way, and I'm so sorry, guys.
Oh my.
Doing good.
Peter, how about you? How do you present the topic of more bookshelves?
Hey, I think I'm going to put some bookshelves over here.
At some point, is there like a tipping point where like it just doesn't matter?
I think he's getting to it.
Like you get to wherever, and you're just like, whatever.
He's not finished with the bit yet.
It's Florida. Waiting. It's built on a swamp, so of course there's a tipping point. When he puts so many shelves on that side of the house, it starts to sink.
No, that was the old house. You got a new one, so it doesn't do that anymore.
Oh.
New house doesn't do that anymore.
That's cool.
I think I'm going to put the bookshelves over here.
There you go.
She just looks at you like that.
We're having fun.
So yeah. So there you go. So Ron was asking about the blue silver streak. Where the heck is that thing at? Wasn't that Target?
Dude, I don't know.
Wait, that's not red?
I know it's not.
I've said that. Are you making fun of me now, Peter?
No.
We're not laughing at you. We're laughing with you.
He's just telling
I
the
said
truth.
there was no way it could be a Target exclusive because it's blue.
Truckosaurus.
What are you saying? Truckosaurus? Or Targetsaurus?
I don't know what that was. I'm doing what I can, guys. No, I don't know where that's called Silver Streak, apparently. Because they wanted to reuse that name, which is cool, I guess. Bring back that old name. Sure, fine.
That's a reference to the Costa run on IDW, where they had Blue Streak and Silver Streak running around concurrently. Two different comic books, but they were colored differently.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Yes,
I don't remember that at all.
They whoopsie-daisied it and had Blue Streak hanging out in the Bumblebee book and Silver Streak hanging out in the mainline book. Like, ooh, sorry, guys. And then
there. Whoops. I did hear some news about that a couple weeks ago. I heard it had made it through the port. That's the last I'd heard. So it's somewhere.
How are we like to that level now? Like, do we know which ship it's on, and we can like track it on oiltankerplus.com?
I think we only know once it gets here. I don't think we know once it leaves where it's from.
Like, you can like download a bill of lading that shows everything on the thing, and you'd be like, that's the container right there. Yeah, it's in the middle, so if the ship tilts, we're fine, guys. Don't worry.
Ever since those Gokus went overboard, man, nothing's been the same.
We know people that work in the ports, and they like move the cargo.
All right, so this is how Christian gets it first. It's like
Christian never. I live on the East Coast, man. You think I get anything first? No.
Everything hits those West Coast crosses and
East Coast. That means you can get COVID first, right?
Oh,
I get that first.
Hey, Florida, we're gonna win this time.
So I'm gonna
anime convention, no less.
If we agree that the 12/30 Buzzworthy release date is correct, I would imagine that Silver Streak is in that batch too.
Okay, sure.
It's probably a fair assumption.
If it's here, and it's a Target exclusive, and there's Target exclusives that are also here or will be here and have a street date, stands to reason they all have the same street date. So they just did it with Dracula's, which was a countrywide release at the same time.
12/30 street.
Doesn't it seem odd that there's a street date like after Christmas? Like,
yeah, 12:30 street date.
No, they did that last year too.
January.
They did that last year too.
They do the reset at the end of January, so they're going to hold them in the back and be like, "We don't have any. We don't have any. We don't know what you're talking about. We don't have any. You have a DPCI, and I don't give a shit. We don't have any."
And then what you do is you go and find a toy that they put on the shelves early, and you try to buy it, and they won't let you.
And they snatch it out of your
on
hand.
New Year's Day, you throw a fit
in your power not
at like
to
7
strangle them in the store in front of their self-checkout thing with the camera staring at you like, "You touched me? You took something out of my hand? Because of a street date?"
I went to Target on New Year's Day this year, and I was able to pick up new Kingdom figures. I picked up Thrust. I called Peter and picked him a Thrust up too because they were there.
They took things out of my hand, and I was like,
they did.
I'm going to set this whole fucking place on fire. I got fired from Target for threatening to burn the place down in 1998 and was trespassed from that motherfucker. And guess who goes back to that place as often as he can? Because, hey.
This is recorded.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd be saying that out loud.
Hey, man, I'm on camera everywhere. I'm a federal employee. What you going to do? Take my security clearance?
Phil, so you're telling me it's been a year since you had your meltdown at the Target and called me?
11 and a half months.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Like it just went whoosh.
I said like after that I was going to stop selling toys. I was wrong.
I just can't believe that you knew better too. You knew, like you've heard all the story. You knew that you tried to be like, well, I've heard story and time again where you can't pull these out of street date if they tell it. I'm going to call corporate. And you wasted 45 minutes of your life.
It was like 15 at the most.
No, you told me it was a long time. Don't lie.
I mean, the whole morning was like 45 minutes.
Oh, okay.
But that was like multiple targets.
What did you try to buy, Phil?
A McFarlane 2-pack.
Was it worth it?
The DC's things?
Yeah, it was a DC. It was Nightwing with a red emblem versus blue versus the Red Hood. And I sold the Nightwing for a decent, but I sold the Nightwing for enough to pay for the Red Hood. So it's like I got the Red Hood for free.
But the shame cost a lot.
Cost you your sanity.
Yeah, no, I was.
Fortunately,
my kids and wife weren't with
"Sir,
me.
this is a Target. Like we."
Sir, please, this is a
put your pants back on.
Sir, this is a Wendy's.
Where's your go box? I want my go box.
Oh boy!
Yeah, I know I'm not the only toy collector who's ever done that. That doesn't give me much solace, but yeah, it was a regrettable moment.
I got kicked out of a Toys R Us at 16 years old because I saw a case of Beast Wars in the back, and I asked the employee if they had any more because there was nothing on the pegs, and they said no. And so I let her walk away, and I just went in the back and started opening cases and trying to, and got to sort it out for that one.
Why? I don't get that. You're basically doing their job for them. It's not like you're stealing it.
I tried to explain that to them, and they're like, no, you can't go back there. It's not for you, little boy. And I was like, okay, fuck, I guess I'm leaving now. And so I left. I went back to that place too till they closed down.
There you go. You can't go anymore.
Go down and spend more money.
Peter was the hedge fund. Peter was a hedge fund that shut Toys R Us down.
Bought them, and I
Yes.
saddled him with debt or something. I did something. I'm a criminal mastermind. I'm a dummy.
You even traced photos.
So
I put the oh shit filter over my pictures of toys.
I also want to let you guys know that from the comments, they say that the completionist mentality leads you to be a glutton for punishment for this stuff that you don't like. I don't know if you know that or not, Nick.
Was that Catherine who said that? That sounds like
it was actually Daniel.
Hate leads to suffering. I've heard it before, Yoda.
So, I mean,
that was a brand new listener that already caught on.
Cool.
After 10 minutes.
Good job, Daniel. We've been trying to explain this for years. Has it worked? No.
My first episode that I was on was the completionist episode. Maybe I should just start every episode every week with, "Hi, my name is Nick, and I have a problem."
Yes, yes, you should,
dude. That'd be awesome. That's your show.
Forget
out my wallet.
I feel like we're all like that though, right? You know, it's like, yeah, so.
But because Nick and Peter exist, my problem isn't nearly as bad.
I'm trying to decide if that's like a good thing or a bad thing.
It's a bad thing because there's worse than me. I feel like, I'm not as bad as those guys.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
My habit's not as bad as theirs.
You make us all look sane by comparison.
Habit?
See that? I'm a cautionary tale.
Finally, I matter.
All right, do you guys want to move forward to our
topic
this night?
So the main topic.
Wait. Yeah. And after you mention this, I want to bring up a point that Catherine made earlier. So I'm sorry, Lucas. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. What point did Catherine make?
Well, Catherine said, "Oh, you guys are going to talk about how bad the new comics are, even though none of you have read the new comics." Like, no, we haven't read the new comics, and we're still going to talk about how bad they are because they're going to cease existing fairly soon.
Well, we don't know that for sure. This is all rumor.
Comics. Yes. I just haven't had a lot of time to read them.
I've read more of them recently than I have in a while.
Yeah, well.
Still not great.
What do you guys think? I think, Peter, have you actually read all the new comics? So there you go.
Lucas, what's the premise? Introduce our premise here.
So the premise is that there's some rumors that IDW is going to lose the license, which was reported by, I don't know, was it
Bleeding Cool? It was overheard at Emerald City or San Diego.
And it's one of those things where it's like, okay, you know, whatever. Like, we've heard this in the past, and it's like, whatever. It's not reputable. There's no sources, all that type of thing, you know, whatever. And so you're like, okay, I don't know to even mention this on the show. However, then we got subsequent news, I guess this week, that John Barber is no longer the editor-in-chief for IDW.
Those could be completely unrelated.
They could be. It could
because if you look at the staff at IDW a year ago versus the staff at IDW now, it's almost entirely different. There's a lot of changeover happening at that company, and it's not necessarily related to the Transformers license or not. So.
And John Barber has stopped being the editor-in-chief before.
Right. Correlation is not causation on this one.
Came back once, and this is the end of that comeback. Maybe he had a contract to hang around for X amount of time.
He wasn't EIC. He was just an editor previously. He was EIC this time. And he was a writer in between. He wasn't EIC.
He was the editor-in-chief. He's talking jargon lingo, you noob.
It sounds like something else.
Listen to him with his jargon and lingo, man.
Who's the EIC? Who's the EIC?
Are you just picking on me now?
The myth.
I was EIC of something once.
You guys seen that movie Stand By Me?
Yeah. And he got stabbed in the throat, and he died almost instantly.
Ooh, wrong.
Spoilers.
Lean on Me.
Oh no, not that one. That's a different movie. Although on my California Raisins Sing the Hit songs from 1987, Lean on Me and Stand By Me were tracks 2 and 3. Played that tape till it died, just so you guys know.
Caught my veiled breath.
I don't know what I'm going to do with that information, but I'm glad I have it.
It's yours. It's all yours.
I'm guessing that one of Peter's holiday watches is now the Claymation Christmas.
Fuck yeah, with the bell dude?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Quasimodo.
I just found that VHS tape.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, I had to do all my stuff out.
The Will Vinton's holiday special.
Yes, thank you. I very much enjoy their version of Three Kings.
Yeah, with the camels.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about that.
I do like how, 45 minutes in, we try to actually steer it back to the topic that we had said we were going to do. And then immediately
derailed.
Okay. I got distracted by Claymation.
I blame the host.
I got distracted by Claymation. Barber was editor of his own book on when he was on Transformers when he was writing it. Right. And he became editor-in-chief when they did the reboot. And then he kind of disappeared for a little bit, and now he's gone. So the reboot sucked. The end.
Okay, he didn't disappear. He just was doing a background job.
Am I thinking Chris Ryle then, or Denton Tipton?
Yeah.
Someone was gone and then came back.
Tipton came back.
Okay. Well, never mind. Please disregard my earlier statement. It was about a different person.
So let me flesh this out a little bit. So the first bit of news was IDW losing Transformers. And then very shortly after, if not the next day, maybe the same day, if not the next day, IDW was set to lose G.I. Joe, which makes sense. They're both Hasbro properties. Okay. Then I think there was the news of Barber no longer being EIC. And then this afternoon, the newest news was that Hasbro books are going to be done at Image. So this was not
I haven't heard that last part.
Oh, yeah.
Literally this afternoon
that got announced.
It's
not announced yet, right?
Yeah,
it's like
this
is
is
still all rumor.
Bleeding Cool. Bleeding
it's
Cool.
So, who knows?
Bleeding Cool definitely is a site that is a website that publishes a lot of unsubstantiated stuff. Some of the things turn out to be true, and they look like savants. Some of the things turn out not to be true, and they're just like, just brush that under the rug.
They're going to have 15 Star Wars movies released before 2020. You guys watch. Star Wars is a cash cow, and everyone loves it. They can't fail. They can't do it wrong.
Yeah.
How'd that work out?
Anyways, I would not have given this as much credit in terms of being likely to happen if we had not gotten more and more subsequent stories. Again, it's Bleeding Cool. It still very much could not be happening, but we need crap to talk about, so here we are.
Is there a source?
It's bleeding.
Trust me.
Well, it is very anonymous? Much like conversations overheard at San Diego is sort of what's being said.
You don't think like Barber could have been leaking, basically talking to someone about this since he's like, well, I'm done, so fuck this.
Sure, that could be. I mean, I could think of 20 other scenarios that it could be too. So
yeah.
Daniel in chat says maybe the modern comics aren't that intriguing to talk about. That's why we're like rambling and derailing the conversation. And I fully agree. I have a whole box.
And this is where it comes back to Catherine's points, is that we're talking about the modern comics without talking anything in regards to the actual content of those comics.
What content?
But that's not the point of this conversation.
Just like dudes that approve Hasbro posters. They don't look at the content.
We were pulling a Rob and talking over Christian.
After the first issue, Shatterglass has improved. It's not as good as old Shatterglass. They're stomping over a lot of what was good about the old stuff, but it's better than it started out. I will give it that. And Wreck-gar's Bread and Circuses, aka Tread and Circuits, Bread and Circuses to distract from French Revolution. It's a mockery of what the Wreck-gars have always been. Even the movie Wreck-gars, which was a departure, but not this far.
What is this?
It's still fine. It's just not a Wreck-gars book. That's okay.
Not fine. All this new IDW stuff seems to be trying to stick it to anyone who enjoyed Lost Light, More Than Meets the Eye, even the RID.
Oh, it absolutely is.
The whole point is to stick your thumb in the eye of anyone who enjoyed the previous iteration of IDW comics.
Well, they made that clear on page 1 of issue 1 of the mainline book.
Brainstorm, yes.
Brainstorm.
Exactly. This is not
that
for you
design
guys.
is dead immediately.
Yep.
It's like, okay, you're telling me this book is not for me. And I read 6 issues and they all were terrible. And I didn't read them. But now I'm reading the miniseries. And that's fine. The crossovers have been okay. I read Ghostbusters. That was fine. Terminator was pretty good. There another one? Was there another one? I didn't read My Little Pony because I don't like ponies.
The Grimlock Medieval Times one?
That looks horrible. But I don't like medieval things. So whatever. Cool. So the new IDW seems to be trying to do its own thing, but is never doing anything quite bold enough to actually be its own thing. And I guess the sales numbers are probably reflecting that, which is why they're not renewing the license. I think we've had at least 1 or 2 renewals since 2005, I would imagine. Right, Nick?
I mean, this is a long time for one publisher to have a license like this. 15 years.
The last time it was up in the air, it got renewed very last minute, and that was the reboot.
Right.
So how long has it been since the reboot? 5 years?
17, 8. 15, 16.
Maybe this isn't if it really is going to Image, which that seems like crazy news. Like that'd be interesting to speculate on. But like maybe they're actually shaking some things up in Transformer land, like at Hasbro. Like maybe this is a precursor to
all the new movie comics that are coming.
This is something that if the Image news is true, there's going to have to be a subsequent piece of news. Obviously, there's lots of subsequent pieces of news, but there has to be clarification of that. Because Nick and I were talking about this today in the text chain as we were leading up to this, which is Image Comics is not like Marvel Comics or DC Comics, where there's a cohesive universe and a cohesive set of editors that are all working together on a cohesive story. Image Comics is the comic book company that was a place for independent books and people to own their own, people to publish their own creator-owned independent stories. It was started back in the 90s with a mass exodus of artists from Marvel and DC, Rob Liefeld with Youngblood, Jim Lee and Wildcats, and Todd McFarlane and Spawn, to name a bunch of others, Eric Larson, Savage Dragon. And so the thing was, each of those dudes created their own little universe, and sometimes they'd interact together, but they had their Mark Silvestris with his Cyberforce became the whole Top Cow universe, and that became a thing. And Todd McFarlane had his own corner with all the Spawn stuff. And then, Image has had all kinds of creators that have worked there and done things. And some of the biggest comic books today,
like Robert Kirkman with Skybound and The Walking Dead and Invincible.
Yes, exactly. Walking Dead and Invincible. I mean, Walking Dead, when that book was coming out, it was especially the collected editions were like top number one, paperbacks of the month, whatever, when they came out. So Image is still a significant powerhouse, even though you might not know who they are or where their place is in the comic book universe. The reason why I bring all this up and go through this history and why it's important is that Image itself is not going to be supplying Hasbro with a bunch of creators and writers and artists and all that stuff. Hasbro is either going to have to align themselves with one of these imprints that's under Image. So, hey, it would be really awesome if it was Skybound and Robert Kirkman's group that was doing Transformers books. Like, I would be super, super excited for that. Unfortunately, I think what's more likely to happen is that Hasbro would go under Image and create their own sort of Hasbro thing, very similar to how they had their own channel back in the day.
I don't see that happening. I don't see them doing that.
I like the G.I. Joe Image book. That was pretty good. Not the
Devil's Due.
Well, Devil's Due, and then they rolled it over to Image, or the other way around.
Other way around. Devil's Due was in publishing imprint at Image.
Inside, and then they broke off.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. And again, Dreamwave, when the Transformers books under Dreamwave first started coming out, Dreamwave was an imprint under Image, and then they split off and went independent and started eating babies. I don't know.
Hooray, Pat Lee! Hooray!
If they're not running things, would it make sense for Barber to go over there and run it? Or, like, is he too close to old IDW and whatnot, and so, like, it wouldn't make sense for him to do that?
If tomorrow's news is that Barber is on Image now,
has his own publishing imprint at, wouldn't that be some shit?
I was going to say, if what Phil says is true and Hasbro has to bring over, a stable of writers and creators for their own thing, bring Barber, bring Milne, bring Furman, bring
Larry Hama, because I don't want to see the continuation of A Real American Hero die at IDW. I don't. I want Larry Hama to keep.
Bring Larry Hama. That's
I also need to know why. If
you guys know, and Army Guys versus Snake Terrorists isn't my thing. I only do robots.
I know, but the Joe license is,
you're right. I was just thinking, though,
I don't like Revolution,
that maybe this isn't like Hasbro's taking away the license because IDW sucks so bad. Like, maybe it's not that. I've noticed a trend in IDW over the past year or two. I mean, they've always kind of, or at least since they got Transformers in 2005, they've been known as kind of the licensee piece. They do licensed comics a lot. But I've noticed lately they're doing licensed, like, children's comics more. I mean, the Sonic series has been going for them forever, but lately they've been doing a lot of Marvel kid stuff, particularly a lot of Star
over now.
Wars
I think they
kid
lost
stuff.
the Marvel and the IDW and the Star Wars.
So
I think they lost
maybe IDW is seeing a shift where that stuff is selling a lot more than their collector, adult oriented stuff, and they're not interested in keeping the license either.
Yeah, it could have been their decision, not Hasbro's.
It could be they're not getting a big enough return on investment anymore because the books aren't selling as well. Who knows?
Ultimately, it's a
whole
business
melange of things. Yeah. The big point though is, why is it called Studio Series if they're going to release a Buzzworthy Bumblebee that has a cup in it that looks closer to the movie than the one that's actually Studio Series? What is that?
Because fuck you.
God, fuck me.
I don't like it. I don't like it either, Peter.
I do like Paul's background though.
I like Paul's background.
Oh, God.
I like when the Visionaries killed Cup. I like when Cup died in a sidebar at the hands of the Visionaries. That was cool.
Yeah.
That was bogus.
Christian, what's interesting is before the Image rumors started circulating today, literally this morning, my main theory was that Boom Studios would get the Hasbro licenses.
My money was on Marvel.
So I don't know how much Marvel does of the licensing books these days. I don't think they do a ton of it. Well, but they own that now. They own that. Yeah, they have all the Disney stuff that they have to work with.
But
so why would they pay Hasbro?
If you're Disney, you own Star Wars, you own Marvel, you're already licensing those things out to Hasbro to make toys, right?
Okay.
Maybe there's some kind of you make the deal.
There.
We're like, all right, and we get this break, and you get that concession, and you publish our comics, or we'll publish your comics, and you'll make our toys, and blah blah blah. It's one of those kind of deals.
I got a feeling there's probably a different set of lawyers that are talking about that, but what do I know? But again, my theory was Boom Studios does a Hasbro book right now. Boom Studios does Power Rangers. So Hasbro would already have a relationship with
Hasbro.
It did predate Hasbro, but again, they'd already have a relationship with that publishing group. And Boom Studios does. What's that?
They were definitely my secondary contender. Like I totally would have seen them as a contender here. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So to me, it was probably Boom or Image that were likely to get it.
I'm only surprised that it's Image because of the different publishing houses within Image, the smaller imprints, and that Image is essentially just a big self-publishing umbrella. That's how the company works.
That was the point of it.
Yeah. So the only piece of information I can offer here that may offer any insight at all is that Kirkman is a big Transformers fan. He was sniffing around a few years ago looking for original box art to buy. He was trying to buy like the back of the box art. He said, I don't care what it costs, find it. And he was looking for that.
Didn't he also write some treatments for movies? Like
he was one of the writers, sort of.
Oh, he's one of the writers.
Cabal.
Oh.
Yeah.
So then that's more bait for maybe Kirkman's doing this.
I mean, he was responsible for minutes 94 through 106 of that one with the Knights and the Hopkins.
Don't talk about that.
Nick, how long ago was it that we were talking about IDW losing the Transformers license? Was it like 3 years ago?
I was the last time that had come up was 2017, and that was, I think, the last time the renewal.
So 5 years. God, it seems like it was yesterday.
Right.
But it's just like back then we had the same kind of conversation, but there wasn't like all this. They ended up rebuying the license. So
right.
But you and I were having this discussion. I had never even heard of Boom Studios, so you mentioned it. And I was like, it's definitely going to Marvel.
I had that conversation with you too. You came to see me in Greensboro.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just weird that we're
conversation
here again.
With me. You just ignore me and hate me. It's just so sad.
I'm absolutely certain we've had the same conversation, Peter.
I refuse to believe it.
Okay, so if they're taking their talents to Image, and Image is known to be this umbrella for other publishing houses, what's to say they're not going to make just a Hasbro imprint?
Yes.
Because they would have to manage that. Hasbro isn't interested in managing a project that small.
But that's why they're giving it to Image.
No,
Image. Yeah.
They would have to run the publishing house, and then Image would just print the books. They pay Image a fee to print the book. That's how Image works. It's a flat fee.
That's better than what they're doing now. I mean, have you seen the special comics that they're printing for the Shattered Glass stuff? I mean, they're printing them at some rinky-dink place up in... I don't know if it's rinky-dink. Sorry, I'm going to retract.
Some random place get printed
in Canada.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind.
I agree with you, Christian. What they would be doing at Image, where they would have to put up or shut up, and then they end up doing nothing, would be better than what we're getting right now from them. Nothing would be
it seems
better.
Like teaming up with
theory out of nowhere that Barber's going to head up New Imprint.
That's going to be in the news tomorrow.
Right.
Proto-Man's going to do a slaggy podcast about, hey, I just heard a doop, and everyone should get fired, but they already did, bro. And then that'll be that.
No. What'll be great tomorrow is like Bleeding Cool will reference our podcast as a source.
Hey, I'm a
We're the new
6 dipshits. Bring the pain.
It's bitten its own tail.
Oh, it's up to 6 now? Damn it. Which one of us upgraded?
Sorry. I don't know, Lucas. I just can't count. That's my problem.
that would be pretty amazing though if somehow they reference the podcast. They'd be like, we have it on authority. the barber's taking over.
What is the owner of St. Mark's Comics?
There you go. Industry sources. That's you.
Yes. Oh, there you go.
Botbot's
Industry
historian.
insiders.
God.
Oh boy.
I like where this is going. Maybe this will get us invited to HasCon.
We'll be the ones taking screenshots of someone's desktop.
Dude, why are we not invited to this? How do you get invited to this thing? I want to know.
I'll tell you why we don't get invited to this, and he's not on the show tonight.
Oh.
Slam.
Is that it?
I love him. But that's why we don't get invited to anything.
I think it's more because we don't have the website that the other places seem to have.
I don't know, man. TFW does a transcript of those things, and I've never heard of 3/4 of those people.
I don't know those people.
I'm like, who are you? Like, I know TFW dude, I know Ben Yee, and there's like one more that I know. And then other people are just like, who are you?
Yeah, Sabertron gets on that.
There you go. That's the other one.
And
like there's someone like Silverback or something. Like who is? I mean, I'm sure they're great if they're invited to this stuff, but like I've never heard of you.
And Diecast from RFC as well.
I don't know who that is.
Well, he's been doing it for a long time.
All right, Transformers fans, if Christian doesn't know who you are, you're a nobody.
That's true.
Nothing. You're gonna be on Bleeding Cool.
You are nothing.
Christian is clearly my arbiter of taste. So
Nick,
That's
my question is so I know there's a lot of former IDW artists that are kind of doing their own thing, and like IDW have them do a cover or whatever, but a lot of them are not doing full books and whatnot. Like with Image, like is it possible for them to like get a bigger cut or like make more money potentially with the way that they publish the books, or would it be the exact same process as IDW?
If their biggest seller, Saga, gets them the same flat fee as any other book they publish, let me tell you. Okay. That's just how it is, man.
So, Nick, can you elaborate on that for people who don't know exactly what you're saying?
Yeah, me
too.
don't.
I know what you said.
Yeah.
The way it works with Image is you bring your book to them and say, I'd like you to publish my book. And they say, okay, great. It'll be this much monies. And you say, okay, here's these monies. And then they, print your book, distribute your book through their distributor, Image, Diamond rather. And then it has to sell a certain number of copies to make enough money to pay them. Okay. And if it doesn't make enough, you have to pay them their fee. And if it makes more than that,
Image keeps it.
Then you get paid.
Okay.
At least that's my fuzzy understanding of things. I could have that a little bit screwed up, but
okay.
The bottom line is there's a flat fee per book that they publish, and it's the same across the board.
So we need a Transformers Zombies book in black and white.
Paul,
Yeah, that's right. It's 10 years of Cup on that planet.
Hey, okay. I'd read that if put Roche on art, and I'm in.
Paul, come with me on this if you would, because I have an idea.
Huh?
You've served as an executive officer at a company before, so have I. Unfortunately for both of us, but Nick's model seems like something that I would have paid for if I were an executive at Hasbro, just to be like, yes, here's the fee, take it. It's not variable. I can expect
they're
X
not
number of money
providing
each
editorial
time.
services. They're not doing that stuff. You need someone to run your publishing imprint, and I don't know that Hasbro wants to staff that.
And the one thing we all have to admit is Hasbro are not very good custodians of their fiction.
Or their brand in general. Brands. Multiple.
Okay, but that's only because you're talking about a brand that has spanned, 30 years, whatever the hell it is.
How old am I?
I don't know. How fucking old? 40? Jesus. Anyway, it's a brand that has spanned such a long time that, like, the new corporate guys come in, the old guys go out, and the plan changes. And so, of course, it's different every few years. You're always going to get a different treatment of the fiction depending on who's in charge. That's just how it works.
Well, with Transformers, we've said it a million times. The fiction is secondary. The product is primary, and so that's how they get away with just doing it this way.
The whole page on the wiki.
And and IDW provided all that creative services stuff for them. That's why they're good at it, because they were a licensed chop shop, which sounds bad, but I can't think of a better way to put it. You know, they were able to take your brand and throw it into a pot and make it cool and make stories and make it all gel. Like, that's what Hasbro needs. If they do it at Image, they have to get a team somehow, and maybe it's Kurtzman. You know,
unless they don't. I mean,
well, what do you want? Blank pages with a cover that says Transformers
Image
on
could
it?
be spinning up a new division to do this and take that business away from IDW. I don't know.
That's not how that works.
That's a lot of effort.
They could. You're absolutely right, Christian. They could. They haven't done that in their 25-year history.
Yeah, that's.
It just seems out of character.
So the question is, though, is this rumor about the license going to Image actually true then, or do you think that it's more likely that it goes to like a Boom Studios?
It's out of character, like everyone in the new Transformers continuity.
Mm-hmm. To me,
it's entirely possible that it'll either be Kirkman's imprint or a new imprint will be formed to specifically do this with ex-IDW guys. I could see that happening.
Where I would come in and somewhat agree with Nick, but the first half, not the second half. I could see them doing a brand new imprint. I don't know if they'd want to bring the IDW guys in, because where I think they would want it to do this, why it would make sense for them to do this, is for Hasbro to have the ultimate creative control over what the fiction is. Because what you're going to, even through IDW, yes, things had to go through Hasbro approval, but there wasn't maybe as much synergy between the comic books and the toy line. You could have total, complete synergy between the toy line and the comic books because you are the publishing house for those comic books. And, that's where it's like, all right, we're going to do, what they did with the Netflix show, but in a comic book format.
But even that, they hired a studio to do that.
Right. And you still have to hire, editors and writers and artists to do that. But you can have more hands-on creative control. What's that?
They do have AllSpark Studios. I don't know if that's actually staffed, but it's like what they use for them to interact with other studios that hire to do stuff. So maybe it's like AllSpark Comics or whatever. And that's what they use to interface with it. I don't know.
We'll see.
But they do have a creative outlet for these things. It is called that. That is what it's called. I don't know who staffs it. I don't know if it's one dude. I don't know if it's like 3 part-timers. Who knows?
It could be one woman. Why does it have to be a dude, Christian? Why does it have to be a dude?
How much revenue?
It's just the binder of revelation given sentience after being fed through like one of those script generator machines.
Nick,
wonderful.
I wish Rick was here to answer this, or well, who knows if it'd be an answer, but like, I wonder what like the revenue on comics is versus like one toy. like one figure. You know, like what's the difference for Hasbro? Because Christian's sitting here talking about
gonna give Nick a heart attack. Stop.
like winding up an entire studio of creatives that are gonna have to do this crazy thing. I'm like, they're not gonna do that for the comics that are dying and don't really need to be there anymore. Like,
comics aren't dying that much.
Small fortune in comics.
Comics are a thriving medium, you guys. I saw a Marvel movie.
I
just wonder.
They made more than one Marvel movie.
Hasbro decides to give this all to Rooster Teeth. and they just have them run it.
Like, are the comics on a line of marketing expenses and not revenue potentially?
Well, then that's a horse of a different feather.
That's kind of what I've been thinking.
Yeah.
Well, if it's not
I think it would make sense.
If it's not a revenue generating,
for them to have more control of it.
So all of this is just disposable? We're just consumers?
in the computer?
So are we thinking that they're creating an aligned continuity? Is that a new MCU whatnot, and it can spin off to the movies, right?
Oh, please not that again.
All of this feeding into the movies is probably a good decision.
I see no way it'll ever end poorly.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, gentlemen, this question.
Hey, if you know what? If Hasbro is starting a new imprint and Image, and they need someone to be an editor to like run the fucking line and get their books in order, I'm your man.
I'll be a
putting that out there.
And hire Andy Schmidt.
I know what
Andy Schmidt is the dude. Andy Schmidt knows what's up. He knows how to edit properly. He can keep all the cats in line, man. He knows what's going on with the story. He can keep the writers doing what they do. Andy Schmidt is the guy that we need to run Transformers comics. He also has fun comments like continuity. At Marvel, when I was there, we didn't care about continuity. So that's good.
Talking about?
Oh, yeah. It's a not cut. I don't know. It's some shitty editor that was there for a while, from the end of the Asian series through the end of Costa.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
sounds like a neat guy.
I don't know that necessarily continuity is the be all end all of everything. But you shouldn't contradict yourself either.
Every other month, just like nothing makes sense. Everything sucks. Yay.
So let me ask you guys this question. Would you rather see them a new imprint, new editors, new writers, something brand new and fresh, or do you want to see them bring back some IDW creators?
I want to go back to the Lost Light. I want to play in that universe again. Bring that back. Print more of those.
I think it depends on who it is. Like, I would love to see, like, if they could bring back, like Milne and Roberts and some of those guys, like. That you got to
give James Roberts a book. You got to give him a book. You got to give him a book.
I would be
also,
happy
please give Roche a limited series. I would love to see that again.
I would love to see a bunch of limited series. I don't want to see like an ongoing thing that's just a slog. The Grimlock thing isn't for me, the current Grimlock thing, but the idea of a bunch of unrelated tangential miniseries, just slice of lifey sort of things, like I guess Galaxies was supposed to be, but wasn't. I don't know.
Spotlight was one of my favorite things they ever did.
And then they tied it all together, great. And then they tried to do it again and have it be miniseries spotlights, and that didn't work. Just give me fun stories about Transformers doing fun stuff. I don't know.
War, anti-continuity, Peter.
I mean, it is anti-continuity, but at least then I don't have to worry about an editor fucking it up. I don't care about anybody actively fucking it up if everything
that's never
doesn't
going
count.
To happen because you know what Hasbro wants. Hasbro wants a shared universe, and the thing they need to realize if they're hell-bent on doing that is that
Hasbro
you
wants
can't
billion-dollar
introduce
movies.
a dozen books at the same time,
all
all
in
in the same
on
genre.
Doing that still? I mean,
they need
saw
to have
Hasbro
different audiences, or they will never sell.
Wants
and after they're
movies.
well established on their own, then you can have a crossover after they've had a year or so to sort of get their footing and get an audience. An audience who
Hasbro wants to sell toys for billion-dollar movies. G.I. Joe isn't a billion-dollar movie, so fuck G.I. Joe. Mask doesn't exist, so fuck Mask. What the fuck is wrong? No one under 100 years old except for me, remembers who Rom is. You know, Micronauts. How old are we? These kids don't give a shit. Hasbro wants to sell toys for $1 billion movies. They fucked this up. They're continuing to fuck this up. That's my happy spin on it.
But if you create these as new comic book series that may or may not have toy tie-ins, and each one is a slightly different genre with a different target audience,
you're not going to get the kids
sell them to people.
You're not going to
just on the basis of the books being good. What a fucking concept that would be.
They don't want the books to be good. They want kids to buy the toys and then go looking for the books. They want it backwards. It's not going to work. This whole thing.
Toys anyway, you may as well print a good comic.
No.
I think
good
moving
comics
to a
cost
different
money.
publisher is that move. Maybe it's at least the most potential for that move we've had in years. Because right now, Peter's right.
Peter is right.
The books right now exist. They exist, and they have to feature the new toys that are around.
Like the toy.
They look like a toy. That's all it has to do.
The little greebles and things.
And like they're probably not terrible. They are probably vaguely okay. That's as much as Hasbro wants to do.
Comics.
That's fine.
Sorry, what did you say? Your 13-year-old what?
Hates the new comics.
Hates the new comic. Yeah, because Catherine was asking,
disappointed.
Do any of your kids read the comics? My kids read comics. They do not read the Transformers comics. They're more into Sonic and Fortnite and all those, types of things. So
the question, why is... Well, Roxy can't read. The question, why can't this be more like More Than Meets the Eye, has been uttered, that phrase, multiple times. Also, this sucks. There's your target audience, Hasbro. Good job.
I will say that my kid did like the Transformers My Little Pony book. So, but again, he was younger.
You know why? Because that book knows how to have fun.
It's having fun.
Yeah, it was fun. Right.
Imagine that. When the comics have fun, they're good. What?
But that's where I think you could get this brand in the hands of a younger audience if you publish different style comics. If you go, Nick, you own and run a comic book store. How many comics do you get in that are targeted just for kids? They don't even look the same. They're not the same size. They're different size and shapes, but they're targeted for.
Where they make the trade paperbacks be a different size for the kids' trades, and I kind of hate that. Like, let's let comics be comics, but they're trying to imitate the YA novel. Everything is YA novel sized. That's what it's about. It's not about the comics.
Yeah. And I don't necessarily mind that. I think that's fine if that's what's going to hook a kid to read some of this and get more new blood into this fandom. I think that's fine. I encourage that. And I don't think IDW is set up that well to do it. They try with the My Little Pony and Transformers
My Little
crossovers.
Pony. Oh, okay, the crossover. Yeah, but their My Little Pony book was wildly successful for 10 years or whatever. Like, they sold the hell out of that book.
and then there's things just
because they just let it have fun. They let it be a fun kids book.
And but things just run a course.
Sorry. That's the point that we made on the Rooster Teeth Power of the Primes. What's that series with the Ark and the crashing and the Beast guys? Mm-hmm. It was on Netflix. I didn't like it. But that wasn't fun. And Cyberverse is fun. Mm-hmm. And I would much rather watch Cyberverse because it is fun. It might be for kids, but there's references. It keeps me entertained, blah, blah, blah. Whereas this is just the grimmest, lamest poop. And that's how I feel about the newest books. It's the grimmest, lamest poop, and I don't like it. It's not any fun. Whereas,
if you're making a cartoon these days, please just go and watch Steven Universe, Amphibia, Gravity Falls.
We mentioned
Adventure Time. Universe go watch those things, and then try and make something like that.
No one that for the Thundercats.
Thundercats.
It didn't work out.
That's missing the point entirely.
No, it's fun and zany for kids. Didn't you see Lion-O? He fell down, go boom. It's zany.
Did you guys see how Ridley Scott blamed millennials for his last movie doing so bad?
I thought he was fucking listening because I didn't even know that fucking movie came out. He's crazy.
Ridley Scott needs to go.
I'm sorry, your movie that I've never heard of came out? This is not my fault.
Let's cancel everyone. Cancel me.
Just saying, he's an old man yelling at the cloud, and
yeah,
kind of.
But I mean,
I
think
too far off, Nick.
I think in general that if the license is up for renewal, like they need to do something to shake things up. Like, you know, they tried doing the reboot. It doesn't seem like it was, you know, like successful necessarily. Like they're definitely not selling more books than what they were before. So it seems like that now's probably the time for them to like give it to somebody new. Like,
what about
more than ECI and Lost Light
Beast Wars book? Isn't that pretty good? Beast Wars story that's going on.
I read the first 2 issues. They were not great. I think the art is bad, but that's.
Well, Bertram.
I like that. I like Bertram normally. His art style does not lend itself to Beast Wars for me.
It's subjective. The story is fine.
Doing just the coloring or the lines too.
Lines.
Oh, okay. So
I read them. I was like, meh.
I had something more I was going to say, but it's probably going to get ranty and derailed, and I would have lost track of what I was saying.
Oh, so. I like ranty derailing.
Do it.
I don't remember now. That's the thing is, everyone else started talking, and not that anyone should stop talking for me. I
might bring you back. Do you also wish that Optimus Primal was in the Beast Wars book? Because he's not.
He is. He's there.
He's not. He's not there.
So is anyone getting in their last minute Rancor?
The rank dies at midnight.
It's animated Optimus Prime. That's the point.
See how we're doing.
It's not Optimus Prime. Different dude. I can't remember who the writer is on that one. Don't understand.
So should I go and try to back the Rancor just to be like, say I did, and then it just somehow magically gets funded?
No, because
they're going to fudge the numbers anyway, and it's going to pass.
The numbers are made up, and the dollars don't matter. Whose Rancor is it anyway?
Yeah.
Well, it could potentially be it could potentially be a very lowly produced item.
Yeah, there you go. Paul,
that's the one.
Time for you to buy like 20.
Then it nips you right in the balls.
Paul already pre-ordered 20. He already backed for 20 or 50 or something. He's gonna have a whole basement full of.
He's gonna buy the last 1,500 all by himself.
His wife is gonna be so full of Rancor.
I'm gonna make my own Rancor pit. Can I open a toy on air?
No, I mean, yeah, of course we do it all the time.
I can't see you.
You can't see it.
See it because you got your background thing.
Is that a PF toy?
PF Prime, baby! Woo! I'm peeping.
Yeah, why don't you take your background off so you can actually see it?
No.
There you go.
Look at this beautiful.
Look, same toy I already own 4 times.
Nick, you own this one too, right?
Does it look premium, Paul?
Yeah, it does. I really like the green windshield. That's why I really wanted this.
Yeah.
It's a $50 windshield.
Premium.
Yeah.
It's a good deal for a windshield.
I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
You guys have bought more for less.
Yeah, it's called jewelry. Wait, we've bought more for less. Yes, that's the point. That's what we all want to.
I said it wrong. I said it wrong.
And we all interpreted it the wrong way you meant.
No, I was just waiting for someone to say it.
We lose Peter?
He walked away.
He's going to open something now.
So Enots is asking if anyone has mentioned about the Minosaur being a mix of. We didn't actually earlier.
That's
a leak. Not mention that.
No.
So a rumor leak, whatever, that the new Minosaur is going to be different eras. So there was a Transformers Prime breakdown as a limb. And I can't remember what were the other limbs. Christian, do you remember?
Dead End will have some.
Dead End is the only one who's true G1. Oh no, Dragstrip is true G1.
Whoa.
Motor Master would be the RID version from like 5 years ago.
I don't even remember how that was different.
So I can't imagine that like Hasbro would release where they would like reshell it, and do remolds initially of all these characters, and then later re-release the exact same characters as slight remolds, but G1.
They will.
Mayhem?
They will.
This time it will be at least better. I think it'll be better. I don't know. But we have to remember that we also are getting three other Prime characters released in Legacy. You know, Breakdown, RC, and Knockout, and none of those look like Prime characters.
I mean, I feel like I'm Charlie Brown here, man.
Temper expectations here, but even if they do re-release, like Breakdown is he's really Prime, the G1ified, and then they'd want to do a G1 Breakdown later. I'm cool with that because at least they're two different characters.
Yeah.
I never want to see the Siege Earthrise trap again, ever. Except I do want to see it one more time. Because I want them to do Hound in an Earth mode.
Oh, yeah.
And they did not do Hound yet. Damn it. But yeah, that felt like a betrayal. We talked about that a ton of times on this show. Everyone knows how Lucas and I feel about that. So,
but that's what I'm saying is I feel like I'm Charlie Brown and Hasbro's Lucy.
Oh, pulling away to football.
Right.
Part of me says they won't do that again because they listen to fan feedback. They know we hated it. But part of me also realizes that those are two of the most successful toy lines they've had in a really long time.
What won't they do again?
Like
release the same exact character slightly differently the next year for Siege to Earthrise.
They're totally going to do that forever.
Look at Cup. Look at the Cup that they're doing.
Yeah.
Right.
This reminds me of back in the day when Aaron Archer's like, well, if we release Jazz and animated, we won't release them in Generations or whatever. And like, remember that? Like, rules don't exist. There are no rules except to make money.
Years.
Yeah, like Cup or whatever. They wouldn't re-release a slightly more animation accurate version like a year later.
Christian, greed is
as
good.
A small run exclusive, no less.
Right. Yeah, they wouldn't do a main character as like a store exclusive that would be like hard to track down, right?
Like Bumblebee.
So yeah, I'm waiting for. Are they gonna redo that Bumblebee that was the Netflix one? Like, nope. But make that.
I'm telling you,
blue windows on that thing.
2024 vintage packaging. Still Walmart exclusive, but that's where that's going to be.
Oh, God. Put a bullet in my head.
Yeah. If you ever wanted to get out of Transformers, this is a good time. If they're pissing you off.
Here you go, Nick.
Yeah.
That 2024 line is how you get me to buy a whole line minted box.
That's cool.
Should do Machine Robo instead. It's way better and the line ends.
But see, that's what Nick, being a completionist, that is only going to lead to anguish.
Don't do that.
So
that Menasor news is just kind of crazy. I haven't really thought about what that means, but like, it did seem so weird that they're just like, hey, it's combiners again. Like they're just going to do the same thing again. Like, oh, here's a better Menasor. No. They're going to give you
it's not going to be Scramble City this time.
It's going to be a weirder Menasor is all it's going to be.
The one thing
but Combiner Wars started weird. Alpha Bravo, Rook. What's his name?
Right.
Off-road. There you go.
Who got repainted into Breakdown anyway.
Yeah.
That didn't happen.
The one thing I will say is
well, not repainted.
At least with these combiners and them re-releasing whatever, is a lot of times you like to have combiners in multiple modes. So you want to have a set of individual...
Was his own mold.
No. The Prime Breakdown that they did as part of one of the Unite Warriors box sets.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
You're both fired.
Too many breakdowns. Too many of them.
I'm having a breakdown right now, you guys.
But I was going to say, for the combiners, a lot of times, like, you might want to have, like, 3 sets. Like, one for alt modes, one for, the robot modes, and one for a combined mode or whatnot. So, like, I guess at least with this, like, you don't feel as bad if they redo them multiple times, but...
Yeah, he was off-road.
You're right.
Catherine,
you were right. They were confused, Nick. You were right. Just...
You were right. I was.
I had to go to the wiki because I thought I was losing my mind.
No, we didn't realize which breakdown you were referencing.
Just listen to the things in your head, then you can't be wrong.
I think that's how I got in this mess, Peter.
You don't have to pay for server space up here.
I think Catherine watches this just to be a contrarian to us. Like, oh, you guys don't like the comics? I do. You guys think this new Menasor sucks? I think it's going to be awesome.
Did you meet
Catherine?
Awesome.
Look, the individual components might be a lot of fun, but I think that
I hope they're all crash
excited
combiners.
to see what happens.
I hope they're all crash combiner level of articulation. I hope they're crash combiner levels of paint. I hope they're at the new the commander class price point. I hope that all of our dreams come true, and then they show up in the movie, The Rise of the Best, starring the crash combiner Stunicons.
Hey, what if they're choosing these molds for these weird guys just so they can sort of do the Masquerade Autobot set?
You know that's coming.
Pretty cool.
Because that's something that
we
all
knew
wanted.
it was coming 6 years ago too. Look what happened to us then.
Huh?
Bait and
I
switch.
guess it kind of did happen. A little.
Not a lot.
Happened.
Sort of, maybe. Sort of, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, this could be fine. The leak also says it's not just G1 Venusaur, it's better. So, I mean, of course, that's subjective.
Yeah, I do not think that word means what you think it means.
It actually turns into Cybertron Venusaur.
That'd be sweet.
No, that would be awful. That toy is awful. Destroy it. Kill it with fire.
Why do you say these things to me when you know I shall kill you for them?
Mention you're from, but Cybertron Venusaur is dope. He's made of drills, man.
Omega Doom is dope.
Yeah. And without Venusaur, Omega Doom would not have existed as much as he did and did not at the same time.
There's a toy I wish we'd gotten.
There's a lot of toys I wish we'd have gotten.
I don't know. So from my standpoint, I think it's just frustrating because I know I'm gonna have a whole pile of toys that get re-released again, and
are you? You're out, Lucas? Are you out?
No, I'm gonna be in. I'm gonna turn into Nick and be mad about it.
Like I said before, if they really are doing like the different character versions of this, that's still a step ahead. Because if it's, Prime Breakdown and G1 Breakdown are different people. They're not even closely related. So if they want to do Prime Breakdown, you're like, hey, he's a Stunicon, and then in Legacy 2 or whatever, hey, it's G1 Breakdown and he can combine 2. Great.
I mean,
fantastic.
The only thing that annoys me about them is like where it's the reimagining, but I feel like a lot of these they're only reimagining it because it's easier to make a remold to a G1 figure that way.
Okay. You know what it's going to be. G1 Breakdown is going to be a Generation Selects exclusive.
That's fine.
For 2 years. This is how they're going to get away with their multiverse of madness or Into the Spider-Verse thing, where they just have all universes exist all at the same time. Everyone's meeting everybody, combining with everybody. Just buy them all, then buy them all again next year. It's incremental improvements and incremental whatever's. It's the same shtick that we've fallen for the last 20 years, just ramped up because now we've got a lot more toys every month, and fuck it.
Is this sustainable?
I'm against the incremental improvements.
I don't know,
thing, but
Nick,
otherwise,
you tell me.
I'm cool with everyone meeting.
I am clearly the outlier here.
Peter, Nick, is this sustainable? Can you continue?
My wife has told me it is not sustainable.
Peter and I will be the last men standing. But like 2 men cannot support a line. So I ask you, is this sustainable for the rest of the world?
I don't know, Marvel.
You're not the only one supporting this. There's still going to be plenty of people that will support it.
But there are less of us every time they do something stupid like that.
But then we have
every HasLab Unicron that happens, more people go, screw this, I'm out.
Yeah, every shit movie that comes out and every boring ass cartoon that comes out, every crappy comic that comes out, we have more people checking out. And we're not bringing in newer kids.
Are people really checking out, though, or are they just checking out of that thing and they just keep buying the toys?
Do they, though?
That goes back to my question of, is it sustainable?
I haven't seen Cyberverse because I think it's garbage. I watched the Netflix stuff. I hated it, but it didn't make me stop collecting. So, yeah, I'm still around.
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of people continually getting into the brand. And so I think for them, like, getting the Minosaurs and whatnot, and if you release one year and then, they missed out on it, and then the next year there's a new one, like, for them, like, that's exciting.
Transformers is a 3-generation brand now. Our parents bought it for us. We played with it, and now we're buying it for our kids. Wow. It's not going away. It might take some little breaks or naps, but it'll come back, probably within 6 months or a quarter with some new version of it.
I don't think we'll ever end up like how G.I. Joe is. At least not for another 100 years.
Success? Roaring phenom status. Everyone loves it. No one can stop talking about it.
Dude, no one cares about Army Guys.
Peter just time warped back into 1986.
They don't.
and
I'm pretty sure that's a threat.
But to whom?
That's probably me. It's usually me.
I wouldn't threaten you with a razor blade. I love G.I. Joe, you guys, and GoBots. This Transformer stuff, I'm out.
I just don't see. I don't see Transformers going down that same road. It's always been good at reinventing itself for a new audience. There will always be something new.
Transforming itself
eventually.
Yeah,
exactly. That's the whole point.
The line changes.
Maybe
into
the
Rise of the
comics
Best.
will transform themselves
into another semi-truck.
The best. The best. The best.
Yes, Rise of the Bests. We will see that eventually.
2024.
Do you think that this? It's got to be the comics thing. Can't be related to the extension of the movie, right?
No. Who knows?
Probably not.
They're probably just shaking up the entire brand.
If I had to read the situation,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'd say it seems like whatever position IDW is currently in, and they just didn't want to renew. I'd wager, or it didn't make sense for them to renew.
My theory is that they're doing this multiverse thing with Legacy, and they want a new, fresh start with the fiction that they'll do through the comic books.
As a kid, that's how I played with my toys. Because I played with my toys till I was 16, 17 years old, and I had Beast Wars and Machine Wars and Gen 1 and Gen 2 all just going at it.
They're all the same continuity.
Tell me more about Machine Wars.
So when would we expect new books to actually hit?
Summertime.
I don't know when IDW's license runs out. Remember that they were talking about the end of the license in 2017, but it would have been when that Unicron thing dropped. Would have been the end. So when did that happen? Was that 2 years later, or a year and a half later?
It was 2018. But when Dreamwave died, yeah.
Dreamwave was a special case.
It was a special case, but it ended in October, November of 2004, and December of 2005 is when issue 0 of Infiltration popped up. So.
Or Steady Timber if you were cool and were at the convention.
I was broke and married, miserable and drunk, suicidal.
Definitely not being cool then.
That's what marriage does to you. It makes you suicidal. Yeah.
I guess I'm just trying to say, how is it just an immediate thing that just happened, or has it been in the works, or will it take 6 months for them to ramp up?
Oh, probably 6 months or so.
Depends.
I would imagine that, probably. I don't think we're seeing anything from Image at least before San Diego, if it's Image. So
that's in summertime.
New books get solicited
3 months in advance.
3 months before they get published.
Right.
And you got to figure they're going to want to, because when the books are solicited is when everyone puts in their orders. So you're gonna figure they're gonna want a couple months of ramping up the hype before then.
Got to get on that hype train. Yeah, you guys remember Transformers? They never went away. Get hyped.
Hype.
No, but you can hype it with if it is part of Image, that is a big deal because Image is a much bigger player than IDW is.
Oh, I'll give you that. Absolutely.
Yeah. So you can generate hype, and it'll be very curious to see if they get legit talent, or if they're just going to sort of hey, here are the dudes that we're going to do. And will they get, and when I say knowledge, I don't want to say any of the writers or artists that have been doing the books recently are bad at what they do, but it's just they are not as well known names. Will Hasbro go for more well-established names on the creative side to generate some buzz from that regard.
I think the point earlier about Kirkman makes sense there.
I don't know if that makes sense, because does Skybound do anything licensed wise? Like, that's especially if this is not just Transformers, if this is Hasbro wide, that's a big chunk of publishing, and that's why I tend to lean towards them being their own little arm inside Image, the Hasbro arm inside Image.
What if it's a relaunch of the Hasbro universe, you guys? They start with Rom and Gem and the holograms from the start. It's gotta be a winner. How could it fail?
The flagship book is Unit E.
Unit B. You can't launch 12 books at once. You can't.
What do you mean?
You launch 52 books at once.
Yeah.
Why are you poking the bear, Phil?
You totally do it. It works every time, Nick.
That was amazing. I did not expect that reaction, but I'm so glad I got
it. 52 books at once. Nothing will ever go wrong.
Hey, it made DC a lot of money.
It's 2 years and none of these are selling anymore. Let's do it again. Hey, it's 2 years and none of these are still selling. Let's do it more times.
It's the new Hasbro.
The new 52. There you go.
Yep. I'm very, very. I don't know. I need to see more before I get excited. Just because, we're getting rid of some books that, in general, most of us in this cast aren't enjoying. Doesn't mean that what we're going to get that the new thing is going to be any better.
That is the thing that I often say is, better the devil you know than the devil you don't.
And I never agree with you because I'm always optimistic.
See, I'm more along the mindset on this is, in with the new boss, same as the old boss.
Yeah.
Hey, that's from a song. I hope that we all enjoy the new Hasbro comic family.
I love being a family.
Flow Rider is going to be one of the writers.
They should get Chewbacca Mom on there.
Yeah.
Get Chewbacca Mom on art duties. It'll be great.
I called you all.
Dude, she's the EIC.
Dude, perfect.
You start 6 books with very different focuses for the first 6 months. After the first 6 months, you start another round of 6 books, right? With, again, very different focuses. And then after a year to 18 months of publishing it all, then you can start to do crossovers.
You start with Army Ants versus Fatal Fluffies versus Ponies versus Rom. You just throw them all in there at once, and they're all being operated secretly by Synergy and Mask and Venom.
Nick, you're making too much sense here. Like, this is not going to work.
I know how to do this. I know how to market this. I know how to sell it.
I'm a people person.
In conclusion, BotBot's Awesome is going to be the best thing we've ever seen.
There we go.
I think so.
There's news of the program. BotBot's Awesome is where it's at. We'll have fun, and it's all that matters in the world.
Is there going to be a BotBot's comic? Because that would be awesome.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Don't doubt it at all.
Christian, I will never watch BotBot's Awesome, no matter how good it is, as long as you still continue to review. As long as you continue to refuse to watch Cyberverse, I will never watch BotBot's Awesome.
That's a
just
fair
to spite
deal.
you.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I love having spite packs.
Yeah.
And there's no one I'd rather have a spite pact with than you, Phil.
Oh no!
What the hell?
I don't know how to take that.
I'll trade you, Phil. Trade me.
I will.
Peter, I can have spite packs with multiple people. All right, there's a lot of spite here to go around.
I do want to say if you want to discuss the conclusion of the best Transformers book, More Than Meets the Eye, they will be discussing 56 and 50 or issues 56 and 57 at book club this week, Sunday at 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central. That's on the TF Talk Discord. So link should be in the YouTube and also on Twitter and whatnot. So
it's good.
Cool. And then let's see what else we got. Should have a microcasters this week. Christian, do we know what we're doing?
Shatterglass Megatron is the plan.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah. So
you need to be on there, man.
I can't. I've got the paint list that night. I can't be on.
On Thursdays now? I thought you were on Wednesdays.
Actually, I don't know if we're doing Wednesday or Thursday this week. If it's Wednesday, I'll come on Thursday. Yeah, sure.
Now kiss.
There you go.
All right.
Paul, you're welcome to join us too if you want to have kissing robots. I'm sure Anna would love that.
Listen. One show a week, all right?
Folks, don't forget to tune in next week's TFYLP, where the entire episode is dedicated to Core Class Rodimus's Hollowhead.
Oh boy.
Have we hit rock bottom, really? Like, you're gonna complain about a piece of shit $9 toy? Like, it's
clicks,
supposed to,
man. It gets clicks.
It gets brain damage and not the fun kind.
Watching you flip out in the chat earlier, Paul, was great. Like, I tried to explain it was a $9 toy, and they were like, "No."
And if you look too, the way the toy is set up is that this little spoiler covers that. So you have to flip down the spoiler from robot mode to see that he has a hollow head.
You have to manipulate it to get mad at it.
Yes. Right. Yes.
You have to take it apart. The part, he has an empty stomach. How dare he?
Should be full of energon.
Where's the working pistons? What is this? There's nothing. You can stick my finger in his stomach.
You can't tell what this is because your damn background.
I am a very important Bob poster. Never mind. I am so tolerant.
Somebody's
dog.
Phil, is that your dog?
There we go.
Sorry, dog.
Apparently the dog didn't like it. Well, thank you guys for joining me tonight. Thank you to everyone in the chat.
It looks like a scared face.
Oh boy. Thank you to Zaldron and Catherine and Enots and Ron. Thanks to Daniel. Let's see.
And Esquire. Thank you,
and
Esquire.
Antoine was in the beginning.
Antoine was in there
Yo,
too.
what's up, Antoine?
Yeah. Yeah, but thank you, everyone. Oh, and Gus as well. Oh, ponies versus Inhumanoids. I like it.
10 out of 10.
Oh,
I
next
know what
week.
one of those is.
Next week. So, did we air grievances tonight? Can we count that? Like, is next week piece of string?
Retroactively, this is our Festivus episode. Thank you, everyone in the chat, for being patient with us, because holy shit.
These last 5 minutes have just gotten so weird.
We're getting Lucas just cut us.
All right.
Goodbye, friends.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week. Bye.